Hi guys, welcome back. As promised, we are making today a recipe which is the Poulet Vallee d'Auge, or translated into English, a simple apple brandy chicken casserole. Now this dish comes from a French region in Normandy, in the north west of France, and it's called the Poulet Vallee. The only reason it's called like that is that people from that region have kind of created that recipe using some chicken and making a sauce, like a white sauce, that uses all the local produce. So Normandy, you're gonna find apples, apple brandy, you're gonna have cider, cream, and of course, butter. So we're gonna have all this stuff in that recipe. So what is the recipe? It's a simple sauteed chicken. It's gonna be then deglazed with apple brandy. We're gonna add some pieces of apple, some shallots, some cider, some cream, and caramelized apple, caramelized onion, and even some mushroom. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. So let's get started. Now, all the ingredients and the written recipe will be posted on the website, and I will put the link in this video description. What I'm showing now is basically the main flavors and ingredients we're gonna get in the recipe to have a bit of an understanding of what we're making. Today we're doing a sauteed chicken using a cooking technique called the sauté, and we have to make that white sauce, which is the Vallee d'Auge sauce. So white sauce is gonna be coming from the cream and the butter, so that's for the color. And for the flavoring, we're gonna be using an apple brandy, apple cider, and fresh apple. So there's all these apple flavors in the creamy chicken white sauce. As an accent, you then add white glazed onions, and we're gonna add white cooked mushrooms. Let's do this. So I've already deboned my chicken, cut it into pieces. I've coated it in flour, I've seasoned it, and I've made a stock. This is what we've seen last week, and I'll post the video again if you've missed this. So you start with your chicken, and to do the sauteed chicken, so skin first. And this is a white sauce, so I'm using butter in the pan. We don't need to use oil, because it's not going to be cooking as fiercely, I would say, as the other one that we have the last time. So you just put your piece of chicken in there, in the butter, and let it color nicely. Very nice, look at this. It's nice and blonde, and this is sufficient just to get the coloring going. I'm now gonna put this in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 390 Fahrenheit for 25 minutes, or until the chicken is cooked. So now that the chicken is cooking, we have time to make our garnish. So let's start by making the white glazed onion. They are the same as caramelized onion, except that you stop the cooking before. So as you can see here, I'm using pickling onions or pearl onions. I've just added plain water, just the level of the onion, 20 grams of butter, and about 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar. Okay? When it's on there, you put your heat on a low heat, cover, and you're going to leave this to cook until all the water is gone. And now for the white cooked mushrooms. Now the white cooked mushroom is something we haven't really covered before, and it is a way of cooking mushroom when you're making a white sauce or a white stew in French cooking. It really applies to button mushroom only, like the Paris mushroom as we call them, champignon de Paris. And the way you go about it is very simple. You take about 200 or 300 milliliters of water that you heat up, in which you're going to add, same thing, about 20 grams of butter, and approximately we're going to add the juice of about half a lemon or something like that. So try to avoid putting the piece in. A bit less, a bit more, it doesn't really matter. Now the reason we're doing this, all the exercise, is basically to avoid that the mushroom goes black. So we're gonna, again, for that white sauce, trying to keep as much as we can of the white color of everything. So the lemon and the acidity is gonna keep the white color of the mushroom, okay? And that's also gonna preserve the water content in your mushroom, so you're gonna have a mushroom that is very, it's a little bit buttery, very moist, and with a hint of acidity while remaining that kind of nice white color. So, sorry, I forgot to finish. We put a lid on there, and again, let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Right, so I've taken my chicken out of the oven, and as you can see I started to reserve it, but I want to show you that you see that juice that's been rendered. So when you remove your pieces on a tray, keep them warm or we're gonna quickly make the sauce. Now what I want to show is that this is what we're gonna use. We're gonna remove the excess, I'm gonna filter it, keep it on the side, leave a little layer, and we're gonna start to make our special Vallee d'Auge sauce. Saute the chicken, preparing the chicken, honestly, that's not the big thing. In French cooking, it's always the sauce making that's a bit tricky. So I've reduced that leftover juice, okay, on a medium to high heat. And I'm gonna start to add my shallots in there. About a minute later, as soon as your shallots are like this, the important thing is a flambé. I'm taking some apple brandy that I'm gonna warm up and try to lid. That's a big lid. It quickly goes away though, don't worry. Be careful if you do this at home. Okay, this is again to get all of the flavors in, so it smells nice. Straight in, I'm putting 20 centiliter of apple cider, and this is gonna really detach all of the flavors that are on the side of my pan and go into my sauce. When you've detached all of the brown bits of your pan, as you can see I've cleaned my pan, you add a few cubes of apple. There's no real measurement for that. And you're gonna cook this apple and wait until almost all of the cider is gone. So you can turn your heat off to accelerate the process a little bit. Yummy, look at this. It starts to be really, really good. Pieces of apple have got that reduction of cider. Very tangy and appley. From here, you can add your chicken stock, as well as a little bit of cream. You can put like 10 or 20 centiliter. I'm gonna put this on a high heat, bring it to the boil, and let it reduce to a napping consistency. Almost done. The last step, bit of butter in the frying pan. We're gonna caramelize some apples, just for the final garnish, just to give them a little bit of color. And I'm just gonna add a little pinch of sugar on there. Toss them in the pan nicely, just a few minutes, coat it in butter until they render a bit of juice, and you turn them off. Done. I think we're all set, guys. I've got my caramelized, fresh, crispy apples. My white glazed onions are ready. Got my mushrooms, white cooked. But as you can see, some black, but you see that whitish color. And my sauce is done. I'm now gonna be able to set up the dish and recreate that casserole using that dish. Put the chicken, put the sauce on top, and we'll see how it looks like. Let's do this. We're gonna do this home style. So, look, basically, I start with some of the chicken pieces. I think the breast was slightly overcooked on that one, to be honest, because while making the video. And I'm gonna try to dispose maybe the legs on the side, over there, okay. No big deal. Then the next step apparently consists of napping your chicken with the sauce. So you got that delicious, actually I've tried this sauce, it's kind of an apple tangy flavored sauce, and the more you warm it up, it's gonna get less and less liquid and more delicious. Let's put everything in really, to be honest. Well, that's a creamy chicken. Apparently from here you can just add your the white cooked mushrooms, a bit everywhere. Okay. And some of your onions, a bit here and there. Boom, 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 boom. And you finish off with the apples. So you know what, let's do home style. I'm not gonna bother with everything. Sorry, but the decor is not the best. But that's just the kind of the way it's being served. And then you take a bit of the sauce, cover a little bit everything with a bit of sauce to make it a bit more rustic. And this is basically the type of thing you're gonna get there. Sorry. There we have it. This is a Poulet Vallee d'Auge recipe, or the apple chicken brandy. A bit long-winded, but honestly it is a really good recipe to try at home if you haven't tried it. It's hearty, it's appley, and it's bloody delicious. But that's it for today, guys. I see you next time for the next recipe. I hope you enjoy it. Bye bye.